Hello, welcome to another episode of Kill the Computer. As always, we got Caleb. How you doing today?
So rare sunny Washington day. It's starting to happen. Everybody freak out. Sun's here. So I go, I hop on the train. I go get a cup of coffee. I get a smoothie. I went to the gym for the first time in forever.
Ooh,
that's like what my day
nice.
was. You know what I mean? Like, hell yeah. And I'm just feeling myself all day, getting work done, whatever. And I get home, and parked in front of my fucking house is a Cybertruck and the most evil looking couple standing next to the for rent sign of my neighbor's house who just moved out. And I'm like, dude, God hates me. A fucking Cybertruck in this neighborhood? That doesn't get the fuck out of here, man.
They encroach. I recently, in Chicago, there's a lot of Cybertrucks just all throughout. Like once a week, I'll see one or two total.
I didn't used to. This is like the third Cybertruck I think I've ever seen.
Absurd. I've seen hundreds at this point total, at least 100 for sure. But I never really I never really go out of my way to like terrorize these people. I just like look at them. I just kind of stare. But this time I was feeling cocky. In my car, I was playing The Descendants. I had my Descendants CD in. I was like, I'm like vibing to it. Some some punk music. And across the stoplight, there was someone that was driving a Cybertruck, and we were just, red light. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to roll down the window. It was a nice 70 degrees. Just put my thumbs down. I'm just going to do that as I drive by. And I did that. I put my thumbs down out the window. I just stared at him, and he looked so sad. He looked so sad.
Of course it was he and not a group of people, right?
He was just
that
a
tweet
guy.
That's like you never see a Cybertruck full of a happy family. It's just one guy or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like I've really come around on the thumbs down is better than the middle finger, because it just makes them sad, and that's just a better result, I think. But enough about Cybertrucks. We have with us today the co-founder of Aftermath. We have Gita. How you doing?
What's up? Hi, I'm Gita.
So nice to have you here.
So nice to be here. I was thinking of the last time I saw a Cybertruck all throughout that, and it was outside the McNally Jackson not even Williamsburg, in Chelsea, I think, Lower Manhattan somewhere.
Oh,
and
God.
I was with my husband, and I just said really loudly, "That's a fucking ugly car." And that's been my strap when I see a Cybertruck, is to say to no one in particular, just generally, wow, your car's so fucking stupid looking.
Yeah.
It sucks. It just looks bad.
I haven't hated a car this much since the PT Cruiser. Do you remember what a PT Cruiser is?
I do. Okay, I know what a PT Cruiser is. A friend of mine in high school had a PT Cruiser.
Fuck!
We all kind of joked about it, and he joked about having a PT Cruiser too. So it was just sort of a bit that was like, oh wow, look, it's my PT Cruiser parked at our high school. He had it in high school, and it was it's a goofy looking car. I always just sort of liked it.
With the wood panels on them?
I have
like
not
a
seen that.
1970s car?
Dude.
They were wild looking. God, my parents, okay. Growing
That
up,
one looks sick with the wood panel. That looks good.
it looks like a 1970s car, but to me, these cars always feel like whoever is in this car has some confused feelings about America's founding fathers. You know what I mean? I look at this car and my fucking black jeans are just activated. You're in danger. That's what it looks like to me.
That tracks with the two total people I've ever met that had a PT Cruiser. Actually, that does track. You might be right, which is interesting because it's sort of like a lived up vibe. You look at it and it's this is a lived car.
This is like a Hamilton car. You drove this car from the tri-state area down to Broadway because you got tickets to Hamilton. That's what that car looks like to me.
Real. Yeah, no, that's real as fuck. I did just want to say though, I was down in Austin, Texas last week for a little bit of South by, just hanging out. And the one thing I saw so many Cybertrucks. There's so many Waymos. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a Waymo in person, but they're really fucking weird. They're really, really
scary
weird.
as hell. They're terrifying. I'm terrified by them. One, I would obviously never get in one because there's a chance, there's a non-zero chance I'll be trapped in that car I don't want to do that. That's scary to me.
Can I admit something? I was exploring like the like I went out with a couple of people to the like gay like dance club like neighborhood downtown, and I was like, okay, the only way to get around at this point, it was like 1:30 in the morning. I need to get back to my place. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I opened Uber. I order a car. And it does this thing, which of course is not like just a happenstance. It says on the app after I order a thing, it says, "Wow, you matched with a Waymo. Do you wanna drive in a Waymo? Do you wanna see what that's about?" Of course,
Okay.
advertising, paid advertising, and my drunk ass was like, yeah, I kind of do want to see what that's about. It's really fucking weird.
I stopped drinking 7 years ago, and the reason why is I had the same. I would have absolutely done that.
Yeah.
Like that's. They got away with it, but like, what the fuck's a Waymo all about? Like,
And it was weird. It was like disturbing. It was quiet. It was lonely. It was isolating.
man.
It was odd.
the loneliness of a Waymo. That also, when you're inebriated, must be really stark.
Because you get
there's-
into a car and there's like someone there that says, "Hey, how you?" Like whatever, and they
Yeah.
play music. They're maybe on the
Yeah.
phone talking. There was none of that. It was silent.
Girl, one
in
time,
silence.
I didn't mean to go girl one time, but girl, one time, when I was still drinking, when I still lived in Chicago, actually, I was wasted on my way back from some work event where it was an art gallery, so there was lots of free booze. And I had the hiccups super bad. And this really kind, wonderful black woman driving my Uber talked me through getting rid of my hiccups. A Waymo does not present that possibility for you.
They don't. And the
Absolutely
Waymo
not.
does this thing too, where it's like, do whatever you want. Like, we're not listening. We're not doing this. We're like, you can sing your heart out to whatever you want to play. And it's like, I don't trust that you're not. You're absolutely fucking
number one.
listening.
That's a lot. Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
lying to me right now. I don't recommend a Waymo. I just had to experience it. There was a curiosity. It's for research. It was research purposes. I
Yeah,
had
you can
to know
write
what
that
it
one
was
off
like.
in your taxes. You talked about it on a podcast. There you go.
Exactly. Exactly. But no, don't do it. It's weird. Support your local drivers however you can. If you do use those services. But so I think today one thing we're going to talk about. So Gita, you wrote and you sort of published. Well, it will be published by this when this episode comes out, I believe.
Yeah.
A piece titled what's it titled?
What's it? Notes toward a woke to. I actually thought about it. This was okay. Aftermath right now, as you're listening to this podcast, is doing what we started as a complete joke and then became a real thing. We love doing theme weeks. We do one around our anniversary every year. It's like called Inside Baseball Week because people really do love to learn about what goes into running the website, and it's a great way to promote what we do, and we run a sale, blah blah blah. But like 6 months ago, Nathan couldn't stop saying, basically this is the origin of it, Nathan Grayson couldn't stop saying woke week.
Woke week goes pretty hard. I love woke week. Yeah.
It's such a good idea. Fuck. And like,
So this whole project started as like a vocal stim.
Yeah, essentially, it's a vocal stem. All of our neurodivergent brains just colliding with each other. God. So it started as that, and then Chris Person made a joke on Twitter about the idea of woke too, and which is featured in an article in Vanity Fair. My friend Aaron Vanderhoof DM'd him one day and was
I
like,
love her. She's great. Yeah.
"Oh, she's fantastic. I adore her. She's so lovely." And we saw Turnstile together at that gig. They played at the rave venue, but it was thunderstorming that whole night. So we were both like two waterlogged rats. It was really kind of a remarkable. I'll never fucking forget that show. That's for sure. But yeah, she cited Chris Person as the originator of the idea of woke too. And then from there, I started kind of joking that I was gonna like write a woke to manifesto. So that was the origin of the idea of this piece. But then I thought about like actual manifestos as they exist. And other than the Dogma 95, people who write manifestos don't name the things they write as manifestos. Even like a manifesto that personally affected my life, which Kieran Gillen, the comic book writer, is totally embarrassed by this by now, but his blog that he wrote, The New Games Journalism, did really influence how I write about digital sort of ephemeral experiences and try to think of them myself as a travelogue writer rather than someone trying to rate software or something like that. So But none of these things are really called manifestos. So I started to think, if I'm going to write something that grapples with what wokeness was once and what I hope the idea, how can we reclaim the idea of wokeness, because it's not totally flawed, but what needs to be jettisoned from this idea?
Yeah. It's been something I've been like vaguely thinking about, because like you can talk a lot about like the history of it, of course. Like in your piece, I appreciate that you sort of like walk back like this is like it wasn't just like when people had blue hair. Wokeness wasn't just like having blue hair and pronouns. It was like a political. It was sort of not an ideology, but it was like a political understanding of the world, some sort of underpinning of like understanding like systems and mechanisms of the world around us to like a deeper degree. And like the and like this isn't necessarily a fault of like liberals or the Democratic parties. To an extent it is, but it's almost like how our favorite person, Chris Rufo, he is like the person, one of the people in particular, he makes it his job, his goal to like take these like activist left-leaning like words and phrases and meanings and sort of dilute them down into what is essentially the like eternal political correctness, where he's just like, we're going to dilute what this means into this, and then it becomes ineffective. And like Chris Rufo in particular has been very effective with that. I think he had a big hand in, of course, that, but like DEI as well,
critical
doing the
race theory. I mean, he said he was going to do it, laid out his plans, and then did it, and it somehow still worked.
That's a crazy thing, is like he is like Doofenshmirtz. He's like a classic like a stereotype of like a villain. He'll just literally, you can go on his account, especially in the past when he was like in the process of doing this, and like literally like, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what we have to do, you guys boost me saying this, like literally game planning it publicly. And the Democrats are like, oh, we didn't know this was happening, we don't know what to do.
With CRT, it's easy to forget that one. That was one of the terms I forgot when I was writing this blog and trying to remember like what other words woke has become a synonym to. You know, wokeness is like a phrase that just comes from Black culture, and it comes from like your kind of weird uncle at the barbecue showing you a blog about how the U.S. government like experimented on Black people, and like something that's 100% true that feels like a conspiracy, so that guy is a little bit ostracized. This weird uncle is also my father, like, by the way, my father, who is a communist and who like watches Hassan every single day, which is my 77-year-old dad. So,
I love Gen X and boomers who are like big Hassan fans in particular. There was like a photo going around of like someone's grandma in like a Hassan shirt, and it's like that is like an interesting person. Because like you see that on the right, like they'll wear like a cat turd shirt, they'll wear like a Dan Bongino shirt or whatever, and it's like, well, yeah, they're 90 years old, they are going to have these things. So when you see like a left-leaning like 80-year-old, it's like, whoa, what is like, this is like a what is going on
my dad
here?
was radicalized in a very specific way. I am the only person that's had to like de-radicalize their father from going too far left during the pandemic. It was like, when he started talking to me about Jimmy Dore, I was like, we're gonna get you on some different podcasts, man. Like we gotta.
He was going down a dark path.
Yeah,
that's not even left. That's just like sort of the same path Tulsi Gabbard has.
I mean,
it's sort of just like a weird like left
AI psychosis.
to center.
Yeah.
I have not kept up with Dora recently. I assume he's doing the same shit he's always done.
He's in a hole somewhere, right? Like he's just in some kind of pit screaming about things that go on the internet, which is also what this blog is about, right? Like it's about like being woke was something that became intrinsically tied to the Black Lives Matter protests in some ways, in that Democrats correctly capitalize on the aesthetics of this thing to align themselves with the feeling of a radical movement. And Black Lives Matter also like originated intentionally as a decentralized leaderless movement, which was good for it, because it was that meant that anyone could start a Black Lives Matter march in their city or town. And that, I think, was it. I think you can see what the best of that movement being utilized in other social movements now still. But also, I write about in the blog, like, I remember at the end of 2020 going to rallies and marches for Black Lives Matter and noticing, like, here's a weird group of people that have brought their own megaphone. Interesting. here's someone that really wants me to sign up for something. Oh, we're listening to a bunch of speeches, and every single person has mentioned their Instagram handle at the end of the speech.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's a weird one. Yeah.
I mean, you see it nationwide. You see it with the Oklahoma City chapter of the Black Lives Matter LLC being indicted on just embezzling a bunch of fucking money for vacations. Shaun White, like, part of his Wikipedia page is about all the money he stole from people by saying he was going to give it to families of, like, Tamir Rice, you know, and Palestinian children, you know?
And I want to, like, just briefly talk a little bit about that, like, the fraud. You said that was Kentucky. That was Oklahoma.
That was Oklahoma, yeah.
Like, that chapter, like, the thing, the right, like, grabbed that, and they were like, oh, look, it's Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, it's the official, they're leaders of Black Lives Matter. That's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, you see this come up recently. You see this come up recently also in the same way with Target talked to a black pastor about the Target boycott, which is, I think, a really successful homegrown boycott movement that has been specifically just black people, especially black women, doing it. But they're like, Target executives talked to a random pastor about it, and he was like, the boycott's over. And there's all these people on the internet, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? This was not like we don't trust Target anymore. Yeah, but like there's stuff about wokeness that was good materially, good aesthetically, and also just like ideologically, wokeness is correct. Like, treating people with kindness, being anti-racist, standing with trans people, like being a socialist, all these things, totally great. Like, awesome way to look at the world. It's just that what wokeness, that phrase, all it really asks of you is your awareness. And so you get this like energy that does not have anywhere to go. And like, especially
theory without praxis, as Marcuse might say.
Yes. Yeah. And so what do you get? You get people arguing about Steven Universe on the internet.
I love that part of the article.
Yeah.
I was so surprised Riley did not cut my howl joke, but that phrase, I've seen the best minds of my generation arguing about Steven Universe online. It's just careening around my head. Yeah.
Going off of that, like in different discourses, it's like, oh, like pride flag discourse, like every June the CIA juices up their fucking Twitter accounts, and now everyone has to argue about which pride flag is the correct one. And it's like in the background it's like, Kansas, like trans people in Kansas are having their IDs like reinstated, like they're being rejected, thrown out, and like we're online talking about Steven Universe. We're talking about Chappelle Rowan and her the hotel security, like the what are we
politics
doing?
Of pop stars and millionaires. You gotta like, when I think again about the origins of wokeness, I think of it as like an intra-community thing. That was an idea that did not escape Black culture until basically around the time of the Black Lives Matter protests, and especially the second round when everyone was really trapped inside, and so there wasn't really any way to express your politics other than voting for Joe Biden or voting for Joe Biden or screaming about fucking cartoons on the internet. You know, like there's those, you didn't have a lot of options, but like there's a lot of things that I wish that never escaped the intra-community lens of Black culture. The cookout, for sure. I wish I never told you all about the cookout. Like, I wish you don't need to know that info.
Like, am I invited to the cookout if I'm a good boy? Like, oh, fuck off.
God. Yeah, you know, the cookout, colorism, like, you just didn't need to have that knowledge. You didn't need to know about what we do to each other.
It's like, cis people don't need to know about AGP and HSTS. That did not need to breach containment. That is, it's similar. Yeah, it's like these terms, they are not for the broad
I don't
masses.
know what that means, by the way. I'm supposed to be happy about that, I think.
Wait, you said you don't know what that is? Or you do?
I do not.
Oh, good. I'm
good
genuinely
job.
For you, for society, for everything, for everyone. You will remain in the dark on that one. I will not tell you after this recording. You will not know.
No, because what's going to happen is people in the Discord will tag me. They love to torment me with stuff like that. Like, look at this. Yeah.
We're creating a code of silence around you.
Maybe you'll learn. It's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Are either of you guys familiar with Musa Al-Gharbi? He's a sociologist, I think, at Stony Brook, maybe somewhere near. I don't know. He wrote a book in like 2017 or 18 called "We Have Never Been Woke," and it's kind of about some of this stuff. And his essentially analysis was like he was at some of these protests and seeing some of the things that we've been talking about. And the whole book, I don't agree with everything in it, but it's very good. And it was kind of foundational and kind of the critique of the first woke movement, I think, for a lot of academics anyway. But his whole thing was like, you know, even if what you had mentioned about people bringing their microphones and all of a sudden Michael fucking Avenatti is somehow like the leader of the resistance somehow, because you have like this system that rewards the grift kind of, right? And by the way, I acknowledge, even though that we are much smaller, we are still kind of somewhat in the media class, right? So it's like, okay, spare me this one hypocrisy, I suppose, but like the kind of the economics and the structuralism of like the first woke movement really did. You've got like the vanguard of your movement comes from like, you know, ineffective academia types, human resources, and people on Twitter like the Krassenstein brothers or whatever, right? Like you're doomed to fail if the whole underlying ethos of your movement comes from people who are just kind of set to suck the blood out of it.
Yeah, and you'll notice also in that description who gets left behind. It's Black people who originated this movement.
Correct, yes.
You know, who gets elevated, who uses this as a stepping stone for their own fame. It's not the community that desperately needs help. It's not the people of Ferguson. It's not like Black people in New York. One of the things that I ended up not finding room for is like, it's demonstrative, like the failures of wokeness is demonstrative in the ways that major corporations responded to Black Lives Matter. You get like Netflix taking off the episode of 30 Rock that has blackface in it, and it's like, cool, but I literally was not asking for that. I was hoping for less Black people to die.
Yeah. They got rid of a Golden Girls episode, I think.
Yeah,
it's stuff like that.
Stuff like that that's totally useless, that doesn't help anyone, but does make them look woke, right? Like, if all we're asking is stay woke, like be aware of the political realities, that a corporation can adopt the postures of wokeness, and they only do that for one fucking reason. It's to make money.
And I mean, the ultimate underpinning of that is like not a new critique of like rainbow capitalism, right? Where it's like under societal pressure for like social and cultural change, maybe even economic change. A lot of these corporations will sort of be like, okay, now it's good for us to we'll sell rainbow shirts now because gay people have won the cultural zeitgeist. People like gay people now. That means we can now sell this. And like to your point earlier about specifically Target, they were, you know, one of the early companies to do like DEI and like socially progressive-ish, or like, you know, like a rainbow capitalist mindset. And then now, and Trump won in 2024. No secret there, of course. But like he won in 2024, and Target immediately were like, okay, now we don't have to do DEI
it was
anymore.
That one Forgiato Blow song that they artificially inflated to the top of iTunes, and which we found out did the math that cost like $20,000 to do, and they totally won.
Oh my! I forgot about Foggiato Blows.
That was how like his arrival. Like he had songs before, but the targeting your kids one, because they falsified the iTunes, is like how the Target started walking that shit back.
Oh my god! I forgot what this guy looked like. Holy shit!
Yeah, he's got the PS3 beard.
It's got 2 pixels.
He's got chin beard and then chin underneath beard, and then a tattoo on the front of his chin where beard would be, which is really confusing. Why would you choose to look like? And you have to choose to look like that, which is the most confusing part. Brother.
He loves it. He thinks he's serving. He really does.
She thinks she ate. I hate this guy.
He'll be back in future episodes of this show. Don't worry. I've been working on something on him specifically for a long time.
I'm fucking psyched.
Yeah, we're going back into the Manga music verse.
I mean, what a rich text. I really think that shit's really interesting, so I'm very excited for this.
It's like a phenomena. Like at first it was a phenomena that was like, okay, this is like short, but now it's like at least a decade old. Like the Manga rapper, like the Manga musician. So it's like genuinely actually a storied like text at this point. Like,
there was
sadly.
like a real scene, weirdly. Like there was a real scene with lots of little dramas, and
Missouri Branson, Missouri beefs in the MAGA rap movement.
I'm so fucking psyched. There's nothing more exciting to me these days than low stakes drama. I really do I love a low stakes drama. Like, tell me some drama happening at your local yarn store. I'm riveted. That's all I want to be hearing about.
That's all society should be. That's all we should be caring about.
Yeah,
oh my
listen,
God.
my favorite Twitter, or not Twitter, I'm not on Twitter anymore. The account exists, but I've locked it and I haven't posted anything on it. But my favorite Blue Sky user right now is Yelix, my friend Alex Perry, because all he posts about are what Japanese RPGs he's playing right now.
Oh, that's peaceful. What a peaceful life.
He just posted the other day, re-downloading Dragon's Dogma 2. I was like, hell yeah, brother. Like, that's what I want to see. People
that just post shit like that are doing, like, still using there are a very few group of people that use the internet correctly, where they're just like, listen to a song. Nothing else. I need to post
lunch way more. I need to say...
I love lunch posters. I love a lunch post.
Yeah. But you were saying...
Oh, I think just going back to like the whole like Target thing, like the pressure, like it is, they do these things not because it's like, oh, we are now woke, we are now this. It's like there's the profit motive behind this to be woke. And now there's a profit motive to be anti-woke under Trump. And now it's like within a year sort of rubber banded back because like Trump has sort of imploded everything. And now these corporations are like in this place where it's like, okay, we just like kneeled down and kissed Donald Trump's like both of his feet individually like less than a year ago, and now look at everything, like and they're sort of just like not doing anything about it. Like a lot of corporations, the ones that like Target, I haven't kept up recently with if they've like reinstated some of their old policies, but I assume they haven't. I assume most of these companies are just sort of waiting this out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the purpose of this idea of a black pastor talk to Target, and now the boycott's over, right? Like, they lost a lot of money from this boycott. Like, it's not just the economy being bad. It's billions in profit that they've lost. The black community is very loyal, you know?
One of my favorite videos from like early on in this boycott, like really early, there was like this series of videos from this very old black woman, and she was just like walking around Target, going up to different black people at Target and being like, why are you still shopping here?
Perfect.
And she would just say, she was like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You know what they did, right? And they would be like, oh, I didn't know that. And then she would just go around to Targets doing that.
That's literally also, okay, like that's how I like end my essay, right? Like I go like, if you want to be woke, good. I think it's good to be woke. We should be woke, but you have to do something with that awareness. And I went to Oberlin, which is probably not surprising, but I know Oberlin is constantly catching strays. I'm a normal person.
Look, I respect it. It's a great college. Yeah,
it's a great school. I was really drunk for a lot of it, but there you go. At Oberlin, the way they get you and the way they got me is like they send you a big old mailer and it says, do you think one person can change the world? And when I was 18, I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I think wokeness gives you a framework or a lens through which viewing the world, where you do think you get this intense hope, like Obama style, that like, yeah, justice will emerge if I'm just woke enough. If I'm aware and engaged all the time, I can actually change the world. I don't know if changing the world is possible on an individual level, but I do think everyone's capable of small acts of good. And like, that's really like more than talking about it and demonstrating your knowledge and demonstrating your awareness. I think you should go up to people, the other black people at Target, and ask them why they're still shopping there. You know? Yeah. You don't have to record it. Just be like, hey, don't you know there's a boycott going on? And you can be like, that can be your little act of good for the day, right? Like, I joined the DSA after Zoran won. That was something I told myself I would do.
Congrats. You guys have a good city for like compared to like the rest of the country now.
Yeah.
You actually have things getting done. That's insane.
Yeah, you know, and I have a lot of faith in the organization's ability to get things done. I also was a guest at a fundraiser for Ian Huntley, who is a DSA-backed candidate that is running for state assembly in Bed-Stuy. And he's a great candidate. I think he'd be great in state assembly. And I've seen how state assembly people, like my state assembly member, Chiose, have really gotten things done for the city and really made changes on an individual level. There's a lot of things that he's been able to get through, legislation he's been able to push through, especially the elimination of broker fees in New York. That has a direct material impact on my life. Yeah. But like things really came together for me when my friend Stella Sacco, she got scammed. She is a narrative designer. Video game jobs are really tough at the moment. And she had a really hard time finding a job. So she took a chance on a studio based in Europe. They agreed to her rate. She delivered her work. She ended up with an invoice of $24,000, and they recently told her that they will never pay it.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's unreal. What the fuck?
It's a fucked up story. And
I read that, by the way. And just for you listening at home, if you're like a private contractor, especially in a different country, Jesus Christ, just as a contractor, your only ability is to sue, which is very expensive and not always effective. She was completely cornered, and they knew.
Yeah, they absolutely knew. I think right now she's made some contact with people in the same country as the studio. It turns out the local game developers community or like in that country was really pissed off at being portrayed internationally so badly. And also, it turns out this person that did this to my friend also did this to a bunch of other people. I heard one story, like a person was stranded in Croatia without a visa. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So Stella's is on a tear for justice at this point. But while she was still trying to figure out how to like pay back rent, pay taxes, another friend of mine reached out to me and said, we're going to run a fundraiser for Stella. And we didn't make all the money back, but we made about half of it. And even about half is better than not anything that you were going to get. And I really thought about this for a long time. I like almost cried on stream because people immediately started donating so much money and telling us how much they love Stella. She's a beloved person. Was really there for me when I really needed her, like pretty recently. And all I could think was, I owe it to her to pay this back. And I feel it's the same feeling as when I would cut back from doing like a march for Black Lives Matter or something. It's the same feeling knowing that I've been able to help my friend when real justice, like institutional justice, really isn't available to her. And that really is what started. Like, if I want Woke 2 to be anything, I want it to be like real community care like that. Like, you can argue about Steven Universe if you want, but do it like in real life on the way to fill up a community fridge or do a favor for a friend or grocery shop for someone who's sick. Like, let's remember these small acts of kindness that make us remember that we're a part of a real community of people.
I mean, that's something I've been thinking a lot about, in particular under this second Trump administration. I guess for context that I've probably given a couple of times on the shows, I've been following politics since Obama's second term, like a little bit before that election. I started really following politics when I was like in high school still. Couldn't vote, but I watched that election, and like at that time I was like, Obama does all this shit. He is like drone strikes thousands of people in the Middle East every fucking day. He like sort of slowly got around to gay marriage. He didn't really do anything about it other than just sort of like be like, hey, yeah, I like that now, even though he didn't used to. Like after the Supreme Court did all that. And it's like, so I always had these like different critiques of Obama, and then like, Bernie Sanders comes around, and I was in college at this time. I was like, oh my God, like this is nothing like I have seen before. This is not like a normal politician. This isn't like Obama. This isn't like a traditional Democrat. To me, that like really filled me with hope. And I, I look back at that time, everyone on campus, it was like it was a different feeling. There were Bernie Sanders signs everywhere. There was people I worked with on campus that were like, yeah, like we're interviewing like different people on the campus talking about Bernie Sanders. Like it was like everyone was talking about it at this time. There was like this like hope. Of course, there was that like feeling of hope for the first time in a while for like our generation of like mid-20 now people. Yeah. And like fast forward, Trump wins. Fast forward, Biden wins. Fast forward, Trump wins again. And it's like beat down after beat down after beat down constantly. And it's like even despite all of this, I still have had that like irrational optimism where it's like we will still, despite this, we will still change the world. We will still be able to do that eventually. And I think the journey through a lot of that is that, and especially seeing Zoran has sort of again reinforced this, that it is possible, of course, to have government do things that is good. I don't think that's impossible, but I think to start that change, I have moved away more from we need like a Bernie Sanders now to fix everything to a more community effort. It is, it starts at helping your friend who can't feed themselves. They have no money. They have no ability to cook or for whatever reason it is. They are going without estrogen next month. Yeah. They are whatever it might be. It starts at like a very base community level. And sadly, Kat Abou-Ghazala just lost her race last week. But something that I think a lot more people really need to do is leverage their office, their actual physical space, and their ability to like get fundraising from people to create that as like their office, as like a community center for people. Yeah. She gave out so much to the local community and people in need. Like it was like it's crazy that's not like like the bare minimum for politicians is to like have like a help place for people that need it, like a little community center. That's crazy. I think
also of Zoran literally in high school going on hunger strike for taxi drivers. Yeah. And it's like, he is the best case scenario for a Nepo baby. Like, people really need to think about that. What you want is a guy who leverages his privilege to help people that need help, to put a spotlight on those people.
Class traders are very useful. I mean,
they absolutely are.
Yeah, we know this. We have history of this. We know
Angles, my good man, we'll use your daddy's factory money. We're very happy to.
Very, very long history of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, but it is also, I think helping Stella reminded me, I saw someone in the Discord we'd set up to like coordinate this whole thing. Someone was reassuring Stella, like, you can accept help. It's fine. It's also for us. We all need a win right now. Mm-hmm. And that's also true. I think if you go and you make soup for your neighbor who is sick, you will feel so fucking good afterward.
Not like, chili, though. Don't do chili.
Don't do chili because the new Washington Post will snipe you. But if you make a meal for a neighbor, or there's this guy that just lives on my block, and I just say hi to him every day when he's sitting outside. One day he asked me to go grab him a Whopper from Burger King. I was like, sure, I'm going down there, whatever. It costs like $0 to like make eye contact with people and be like, I'm here. And if you need like that classic, like a cup of sugar, like cup of milk scenario, absolutely. Not me though. I don't drink milk. There's no milk in our house. So I'm lactose intolerant.
Rip. Yeah. There is a movement that I think I've seen in a lot of people recently, and I think it's absolutely related, and it's something that Caleb, you have a little bit of experience with, I think, in some way too, is like moving away, like moving into tech minimalism and sort of detoxing from social media in a larger degree, primarily because it's so like it had the original promise of like, oh, you can be everywhere, you can talk to anyone everywhere, and you can, but it's also isolating. It's very
nobody ever
very
stopped to ask the question, should we be able to talk to everybody at any given point, right?
I feel like in the future, unfettered access like to things like a social media platform is going to be looked at the same way as putting lead in paint. Yeah. Like I think it has given me brain damage, like permanent brain damage, and it's definitely given me some intense traumas. And like also, I'm in the same boat. I am trying to one day I woke up in work Slack and I DM'd Chris Person and I said, how can I make my life more cyberpunk? By which I mean, I want my tech to be modular, moddable, completely personal to me, and as much as I possibly can anti-corporate. And this is an ongoing project of mine, but I bought an MP3 player, and I have to say, I love my MP3 player. I think it rocks to have to buy music every time you want to listen to an album. I think it rules.
Yeah. No, it's there is that.
I bought a restored iPod Classic from a guy off of Etsy in Ukraine.
Yes. The
I'm doing the same
iPod.
thing.
Yeah. The iPod modding scene is so cool. And like the whole, all the new software people are building for iPods and stuff that give them new capabilities. Man, if it's fucking sick that people are doing this kind of thing again.
Yeah.
I feel
it's so cool.
I have some
and
good news for you,
it's,
by the way. You had talked about having felt like you've gotten brain damage from screens, and that's actually true, kind of. Just as another upcoming episode that we've been working on. People with extended screen times do have essentially the same as like early Alzheimer's style symptoms, but
great.
But the good news is, I think it was either 2 weeks or 2 months, and I apologize, I don't have that research in front of me because this is for something else we're working on for the show. Just a couple weeks or a couple months, people's brains like de-aged roughly 10 years in just a few months of just not being on smartphones. You know what I mean? Not being on screens all day.
That's really cool. Yeah, I also bought like a phone-sized like e-reader that has an e-ink screen, which is way nicer on my eyes. And now when I'm in the subway, between those two devices, I do not take my phone out. Yeah. And just like my husband also does this thing that I'm thinking about adopting because he's gotten to learn how to get around the city way better than I have. He, every Saturday on Shabbos, does not use his phone. And he plugs it into the wall. If we want to go somewhere, we either have to like look beforehand or on the computer or like navigate by knowledge of the subway and looking at maps and stuff. And I can see how much peace it gives him, you know? And I want that. I want to feel that. Those little moments where I'm on the subway and I'm listening to music and I think to myself, if I were listening on my phone, the song would be like still buffering and I'd have to just sit in silence for like 3 to 5 minutes while I get a new connection.
Yeah. And it's like all of this works in tandem. I think to the broader thing I've been thinking about. I don't really have like this is definitive or anything, but I've just it's been something I've been thinking about where it's like watching everyone go insane online. News every day is insane. The entire administration is filled with people who are insane online and evil. And it's like the moment you walk outside, the moment you walk down the street, you go to the corner store, it's like, oh, this is just pleasant. These are the guys that give me my fucking my Topo Chico every day. Like I walk in, I get my it's like this is like this is my community. This is like my people. This is people. There's not like the same insanity. Like there is. I guess broadly what I'm trying to say is like the actual like community around you is like reminding yourself that you exist like within context around other people, and that like it's sort of, I hate saying it this way, but it's like sort of radical to like feed people that might need it. It's I think that is like so understated how important just helping people around you like directly in front of you can be.
I think wokeness as a movement as observed online is about the macro. About the macro of major systems. How do these systems work and how do they affect us? It's led to some good conversations. I think broader knowledge of the idea of propaganda has actually been like a net positive in the world because although I understand that the police procedural is a form of television that's just never going to go anywhere, and you can tell some interesting stories in that format.
I love Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks is so good. God. You can't make me hate Twin Peaks.
Have you seen The Shield? That show absolutely fucking rips. It's so good. I have not
seen it.
Walton Goggins' first role. It's not a Marvel. It's based on the LA Rampart scandal. It's so incredible. Vic Mackey in his first dramatic role, and Walton Goggins in his first role ever, and they're just two shithead, violent cops. It's got an incredible twist in the first episode set to Bob with the Bob I Kid Rock.
Oh, Sean Ryan
of the show.
So you at least watch the first episode, and if you're not hooked by the end, I love the pilot. It's so good. And like, yeah, that is a show that wouldn't exist without the format of the police procedural. And it is not entirely, anti-police.
There are positives and downsides to police brutality is what we're saying here today.
Gita Jackson in favor of police brutality. Definitely clip this part of the episode.
It's led to some really dope shows.
Yeah, but it's there have been good things that have led from that. I think even like in small ways, for a while, a lot more websites committed to using black models and having swatches of black skin on makeup. And like, again, wasn't asking for that, was hoping for the police murder rate of black people to go down. But I appreciate that when I'm looking for makeup nowadays, that they're going to show a swatch on 3 different skin tones.
It's pretty nice.
But we can't forget about like wokeness in the micro while we're also thinking about these macro systems. Because I think if you don't radically change American policing, but you still want to be woke, you don't really have a place to put that energy. Like the mission to change how policing works in America failed. And in fact, the issue of policing in America has gotten exponentially worse if you want to tie in ICE and DHS into this, which I think we all should. Like,
they're absolutely, tied together.
That is an offshoot and outcropping of the militarization of police over the past couple of decades. Like that mission absolutely failed. So what do you do if you want to stay woke? I think this is how people really, really lose it. Like how you become like a Mueller she wrote type person.
Shut up. Long time friend of the show. Long time. She loves us.
If it's how you become, you either do an insane rightward turn and become like a graper or something, or become a weird anti-Semite like a lot of people are turning out to be these days. If you don't have a win in some way, you are going to really feel like an abject failure. And I just think you need an outlet for that. And like, if your friend is having trouble raising rent, throw a rent party, like do something. Or even like, it's not even social justice related. My friend lives in one of those fancy apartment buildings that gives you access to like a screening room. So she rented it for an hour, and like her friends put on a film festival of just short movies they made on their iPhones. And they did that and like bought snacks and like went out to a bar. Isn't that so much nicer than yelling online?
Yeah. I think we've gotten a pretty good idea of kind of what you're outlining for an idea of towards what this woke 2 could be. But I wanted to maybe, as we round this episode out, kind of explicitly compare it to dark woke and alt woke types, and how, even if there's overlapping goals, what the distinctions might be and why those are important.
So to me, I don't know if your personal definitions of dark woke is different, but to me, dark woke feels more like an explicit liberalism outcropping, like an evolution of neoliberalism explicitly, especially because the idea of dark woke arose around memes of Joseph Robinette Biden.
Yeah.
And because it invokes his imagery, I cannot see it as anything other than an extension of neoliberal thought. And I think neoliberal thought has become like a very hockey, a very means-tested, ugly ideology. And so that is how I would differentiate woke 2 from something like dark woke. Dark woke, I feel like, wants to meet the cruelty of the alt-right. And like, that's what it wants to punish.
Yeah.
Wokeness,
which I feel that. Oh, I want to punish. Oh, I would love to punish.
I think I'd love a Nuremberg trial. I think I would love the pageantry of all of that. Like, that sounds great. But
I think the thing with like dark woke in particular is it's like, I've joked about it. I still continue to, because I think it's just like the concept of it, just even like the origins of Biden aside, I think it's just like aesthetically kind of funny. But like, I think at the end of the day, it's just more of, we have to post more online.
Yeah.
Which like, what
does
if that
you posted
do?
Biden with laser eyes and called somebody a slur. Please,
Yeah.
will this work? Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that ultimately materially doesn't really do anything other than like fill time in and make funny jokes, which is like fine, but
it is a response to the alt-right, but it is, we're going to do the alt-right, but locally.
Yeah.
Which is, again, like a lot of the alt-right is just internet poison 4chan nerds, right? Like you don't,
Well, it's like
you're never going to beat those guys at their own game.
That's exactly
that's for
it.
fucking sure.
When people are trying to talk about, like, there's this discourse that was happening on Blue Sky over the weekend of like, oh, we should be able to say Zog now because it's like provably correct. It's like, oh, brother, for so many reasons, shut the fuck up. But let's assume that it is definitionally true. Like, I guess what I would say is it's like language matters. We don't have any sort of universal system of ethics or virtue, right? All politics comes down to force or persuasion. And if you use persuasion, you have to use language. And if you use their language, you are ceding important ground by using their architecture, and you are not going to win that fight.
See,
especially because you can have like genuinely the same critique if you just talk oh, Israel, like you could just say Israel. You can just Israel. You can like just say these things that like we've been saying, like it's like in the last 2 years we've seen the entire country come around to the side of the Palestinians. We don't have to like use insane 4chan like Nazi language to do that. We don't.
See, this conversation, this is like how I feel, how I would want woke to express itself. It's like no nonsense in a way, because I don't have time to argue with people about using like anti-Semitic slurs to refer to a group of people, because I am just doing I'm doing the work of helping other people already in my own life.
Yeah.
I wrote a blog a long time ago about some video game bullshit that it was just about, like, please just don't argue with internet racists over this, because they know their position is not logical. You know, like when people try to suck you into these arguments, what they want is to use your platform to amplify their speech.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't argue with them. Just say fuck off and then go about your business. You know, what the people that are being harmed by this need more than you arguing with a racist is your material help in the real world.
Whenever people share, and like I get it, I have watched a couple of Fuentes clips because they just if you are on Twitter, they will just appear. I swear they are just like, Twitter is just pushing these.
I think so.
But also the thing is like, because of that, a lot of people will also just see them, and every once in a while I'll see like someone ostensibly on the left be like, I don't like Nick Fuentes or his ideology, but he's cooking here, and it's like, is he though? Is he actually?
Fucking Mehdi Hassan giving props to Tucker Carlson.
My God.
Brother, come on.
Is he cooking, or is he tricking you, or is this a fucking trick? Is he doing this intentionally because he knows people will share ridiculous clips of himself?
Candace Owen has a good point. It's because she wants you to share that video clip.
Literally,
right?
yeah.
Like, they're manipulative people. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to play that game. It is unfortunately important to pay attention to them because many of them are in charge of the country, but you can say, wow, that sucks, and then go do grocery shopping for your neighbor.
Yeah. No, I think it's hard to summarize woke too. Because I think ultimately no one ever stopped being like woke, like like in the realist sense. I think the people that were like always sort of like, I like the people that would have described themselves as woke have not really gone anywhere. Like that like sphere of politics is sort of in the same place as it always was pre like 2020.
There's always going to be a word for what woke is, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's there. The potential is there. And I think it's just sort of like it's gonna blow up in another way. I mean, in my entire life of following politics, I watched the Ferguson rallies, the very first light of the Black Lives Matter movement back in 2014, I think that was, and that was sort of like 2014 to like 2021 was like this distinctively like the Black Lives Matter era, I think, and like that has sadly come to a close. I don't really, I guess maybe we're in like woke 2 era, but it's gonna be hard to like categorize what that means until it's over, I think,
the left
or like
is in
what
a
it like
defensive,
materializes as.
The left is in a defensive posture right now because all our enemies are in power, which sucks. Don't love that, but I also really thought about like, what did my parents do when they were having to like lay low? Like, It's not like they were ever really in danger, but I do remember one year my mom's a professor. She came home with a printout of an email she got from her department head about the Patriot Act, and specifically her curriculum, because she was teaching post-colonial literature. Her curriculum could be the U.S. government under the Patriot Act had the ability to have final approval over what she would teach.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and they could reject her curriculum if they thought it was un-American or non-patriotic. And yeah, what did my mom do during that time? Well, she doubled down. She just opened at the university she works in. She opened a new department specifically about global South Asian studies. So she was kind of a cunt about it, right? Like she was kind of a bitch. You kind of have to be.
You kind of have to be. That's kind of what you have to do. You have to be resilient. You have to, you can't, I think there are strategic things, especially something that's impacted my life, not directly, but people around me is I've been talking about this current great migration that's not really being talked about too much right now. That's happening in the United States of trans people from the South and southern states moving up to specifically Chicago, Seattle, and New York. We are genuinely, unironically, it is currently a great migration. The amount of new trans people I meet around me all the time is endless. It's endless. And I guess there is that that is a necessary retreat. That is a very sadly, very tragically, a very necessary retreat. Yeah. But you can still be a cunt about it. You can still, you still have to have that. And something interesting right now is I was just last night, I was catching up with a friend of mine who works in the school system, university system, and found out that her department, under a lot of pressure from the cuts in liberal arts and higher education, her department got cut. She is no longer going forward, probably going to be working at all in the university system, and just going to be going into a different career in her 40s at this point. And it's crazy that these liberal arts degrees, education is sort of on the tail end in that we have known of it in all of US history. And I think ultimately a lot of what's going to have to happen is, especially with the Iran war, especially with the potential AI, I think almost inevitable, the AI bubble bursting, and some housing crisis going to be happening soon, and just everything around this, there will be this wave coming up soon. I assume, and I kind of hope in a way, of widespread American suffering, and it's gonna suck. It's gonna hurt.
It's the American century of humiliation that we are entering right now.
We are. And it's I think something like that, because, I think ultimately most things come down to class. Obviously, everything comes down to class consciousness and class understanding of the world and society. And I think the reason why we are sort of in the position right now is there have been so many people that are still before Trump got elected, they were oh yeah, we got to get $150 gas. We got to get that down. I can't be spending $2 on gas. And then now Trump's president, and gas is I saw gas for $5.19 yesterday.
I saw $6.
That's evil. And they're you see these videos of people being the most patriotic thing you can do is pay $10,000 a year for gas. And it's bro, you have to suffer. You're gonna have to. We're gonna have to suffer to break these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. There will have to be that.
The only way to survive that moment that is coming, right? It is coming. We have to. I remember as soon as Trump was elected, Chiose uploaded a video to Instagram and was we are building Fortress New York. We are building a haven for people to come to when, as the rest of the country collapses, because we need to protect ourselves from Donald Trump. We know New York is a target of his because he's a New Yorker, and he's obsessed with New Yorkers liking him. So we will do what we can to make a place for trans people to live. Right.
Everyone needs to make their own tiny fortresses. Yeah.
Wherever you are, I'm sure there is a way to make a fortress out of the place that you live. And you need other people to do it. And it will be irritating. Have those arguments you're going to have online in those groups, right? That is where the real work will be done. And I now Another thing that happened, like, was like my parents are raising me and my older brother, right? I am now building a small community and passing on my knowledge to my children. That is something that I feel very strongly about. I'm like the only person out of my entire friend group that wants kids, but I want to have a red diaper baby, you know? Like I feel very strongly that, like, we have to lift each other up. We're not going to get shit from the government anymore. We have to lift each other up.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah. That's how I feel. I'm Gita. That's who I am.
Thank you. I think, Caleb, did you have any final thoughts? If not, I think we'll wrap down.
I think we got it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Gita. We'll in the show notes, we'll link the piece that I think this will be up by the time this episode comes out. So definitely check that out. Check out Aftermath.
Aftermath. Site. We love it. Aftermath, that site. I think we're going to have a sale by the time that you are listening to this. So
nice.
If you go to Aftermath, that site, you'll see information about that.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to plug before we hop off?
God, we're selling t-shirts with that say woke 2 on them. If you want to live that woke 2 lifestyle, it's in a font that's very similar to the PlayStation 2 font, and it was something that Luke came up with, and we have been so excited to sell these shirts for so long. Please buy them. I'm so happy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think this is Caleb. Is this going to be a main feed episode?
Yep.
Awesome.
It'll be on the main feed.
Yeah, if you are not already, subscribe to our Patreon. We have a lot of bonus content up there. We will have a lot of fun bonus content coming up soon. We have the monthly mailbag that we're doing right now. We just uploaded that one a couple
like
weeks
3
ago.
episods a week on the Patreon. So
yeah,
it's
apologies for last week. It was a little busy. There was a little busy.
Yeah, did you guys know the airports just don't work anymore?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen that. The TSA, I saw someone in the TSA at New York for 6 hours. 6 hours. No, my shit was canceled. I had to like stay another night in Austin, Texas, which, it wasn't the worst, but it was just like, Jesus Christ, like 7 delays, but it was ridiculous. But yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff on the Patreon. All of that to say, we have a lot of fun stuff. I think, by the time this comes up too, we'll have another episode with MYLP of all this for $10. There's a lot of stuff, so go check it out. We will talk to you guys next time.